Welcome, everyone, and welcome to Life Sciences BC Invest in the West conference presented by Amplitude Ventures. This is our inaugural event where we're bringing together companies from across Western Canada. My name is Wendy Hurlbert, and I have the privilege of being the president and CEO of Life Sciences British Columbia. As we begin, I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining this event from within the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. I would also like to acknowledge that many of our presenters and attendees today are joining from other unceded Canadian Indigenous territories across this beautiful province and country. Thank you very much for joining us. We're thrilled to showcase a range of investor-ready life sciences companies from across Western Canada at this event. From topics including digital health to medical devices to biotechnology and more, Invest in the West, presented by Amplitude Ventures, highlights the best in our healthcare innovation ecosystem. We bring together stakeholders in the life sciences sector for a day of innovative company pitches, presentations, and engaging panel discussions with some of industry's brightest minds. This is an incredible opportunity for companies and entrepreneurs to share their stories, solicit support, and even secure investments from angel investors, venture capital, corporate ventures, and foundations that will help them along their growth trajectory. Throughout the year, Life Sciences BC proudly raises the life sciences ecosystem's profile in Canada and across the globe. Invest in the West is one of our signature investment and innovation-focused events. In addition to being a unique opportunity for both the SMEs and the investors, Invest in the West also provides a platform for highlighting the immense potential of the life sciences ecosystem across the West, especially as we look forward to how this sector can support our collective economic growth and the sustainability of our healthcare system. Now more than ever, our industry is thriving, and it's crucial that we collaborate to raise the profile of the sector, amplitude its impact, pursue investment, scalable growth, and global partnering opportunities. The West, and especially the life sciences sector, is open for business. As one of the fastest growing sectors in Canada, our industry is vibrant and poised for continued growth. In fact, venture capital investment in Canadian life sciences industry has accelerated by almost 250% in the last 3 years. This presents exciting opportunities for everyone from life sciences graduates to SMEs, investors alike. The West is home to some of the best industry talent in the world, and our talent pool continues to grow. We're cultivating amazing life sciences changing science and talent here and continuing to attract international recognition. On behalf of Life Sciences BC, I wish success to all those who are taking part in this year's conference. This event would not be possible without the support of the following sponsors: our presenting sponsor, Amplitude Ventures, our technology sponsor, Aon, and our event supporters and collaborators, Biosciences Association of Manitoba, also known as BAM, and BioAlberta. We're grateful for your ongoing support. I would also like to thank all of our Life Sciences BC members from academia, research institutions, centers of excellence, funding partners, industry, small and large, and the many professional investors, partners, and organizations that work in the life sciences sector every day to support the work that we do. As a member-funded organization, your support and investment in LSBC is invaluable, and we are truly grateful. And with that, to kick off the conference, I'd like to welcome Dion Madsen, founding partner of Amplitude Ventures. Dion.
Thank you, Wendy, and thank you to everyone who is attending today. Your energy and engagement, and we're pleased to be sponsoring an opportunity to bring your innovation to a broader audience. In 2013, the first thing that we did as a team was to go across the country and introduce ourselves to leaders of the sector. We hosted events in Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver. And it was clear in those meetings that there was a lot of entrepreneurial energy across the country. And that energy wasn't being combined with the financial support that could create real world-class companies. It was through these discussions that real clarity emerged around where Canadian originated. I remember clearly meeting James Taylor over at UBC, and he showed me one of the very first prototypes of the technology that made precision nano a success. I also remember meeting an intense scientist who was looking to revolutionize antibody discovery. And Carl Hansen has turned that intensity into one of the leading companies in the fight to reduce the impact of COVID and into a $2 billion company with multiple partner deals across the pharma industry. I also remember Ali Tarani, who I'd met back in 2000 while I was working in San Francisco, reaching out and telling me that I really needed to come and see what they had been working on. This meeting turned into a long and deep discussion over dinner on what could be accomplished by bringing aligned investors with motivated entrepreneurs and scientists. And a vision emerged from that about how to develop a world-class cluster in Canada. The first step in that journey was to prove to the world that we could create, build, and grow billion-dollar companies in Canada and can move away from the negative cycle of underfunding great technology. With the IPOs of Clemencia and Zymeworks, we created two good examples, and I want to acknowledge the leadership and vision of Clarissa Desjardins and Ali Tarani for making that happen. Energized by the opportunity to do more, we launched in 2018. And we launched it to aggregate the capital that would enable us to develop more great examples. We want to thank all investors who got behind this first Amplitude fund, which is now directing over $200 million towards building world-class Canadian precision medicine companies. Okay, so while we showed you could create great Canadian companies and now we had the capital, so the next step was execution on that strategy. It was clear to us that our strategy should focus on two areas where Canadian innovators both had a leadership position and where those areas were the future of medicine. And those are cellular and targeted therapy and applied AI and machine learning. Our strategy was to focus on building clusters of companies in those areas to attract talent and capital to the effort. And I'm pleased to say that we are progressing well. We have completed 13 investments since we started, one IPO already, Repair Therapeutics, a great world-class AI company in deep genomics, and 3 investments in Vancouver. Recently announced Gandiva, Notch, and one stealth company that we hope to announce soon. In addition to that, we'll be announcing another investment in Western Canada in the next few weeks. A big part of our strategy is to ensure that companies are building the foundation for success early. To do that, we often create the company, either by ourselves or with talented and experienced entrepreneurs. Either way, we see ourselves as a strong strategic partner who works closely with the scientific and business founders to map out a strategy for success, and then can put the capital behind that plan. 10 of our portfolio companies are companies that we've either come in at the formation round or have been the very first institutional investors. It helps to have an investing team that has had experience being on both sides of the table. Jean-Francois Parizeau started 2 companies before he became a VC. Nancy Harrison became an executive after a successful VC career. Alison Tai started a company right after her MBA. And we recently had Ali Tarani join our team after 18 years of starting and building Zymeworks. And I myself have been CFO of a vaccine company, Cytovax in Edmonton, and a large, and been also executive of a large public San Francisco, Chiron. I also want to highlight the hands-on team of deep scientific knowledge that we have that gets their hands very dirty. Michael Mead joined us from Flagship, where he was part of the founding team of several companies, including Sana. And Bharat Srinivasa was recently the founding CEO of one of our stealth targeted therapy companies. Energized by the activity that we've seen in Canada over the last 3 years. And as I look back on those early conversations from 2013, I can see how far we have come in just 9 years. I've never seen such great technology, such strong science, and a vision from founders to be great. And this is really important. You have to have a vision to be great, not just the best spin out of your university or the best company in your province, but the best company, period. This is a global business, and you need to think about your business as a global leader. That starts from the beginning and how you build your IP platform, how you build your culture, how you build your team, and how you build your investor syndicate. Always be thinking about what can I add to my company that makes it better, rather than thinking about who will buy me. Think about who can I buy to strengthen my platform? Who can I buy that will give me access to more technological capabilities? Who can I add to my team to make us go faster? Think big, you will attract people and money to your vision. Come on, let's do this. Thanks, Wendy.
Thanks, Dion. That was a really great talk and very interesting perspectives. And I think we have a little bit of time. So if it's okay, I may ask you a couple of questions. You've got a very, very experienced team at Amplitude that has come together as you went through their backgrounds, all having a lot of really great depth of experience and also across Canada. So maybe you could talk a little bit, since this is Invest in the West, where you see the life sciences sector in the West, particular areas of expertise or scientific excellence that you see as very promising. I think Amplitude has been quite active out west, I'm aware.
Yeah, absolutely. And we think that a global cluster in Vancouver has really emerged. And we talk about companies like Stem Cell, AbCellera, Zymeworks, Tentarix, and others. You're really seeing an investment behind the antibody and stem cell therapy. And then you need to look back and also look at companies like Precision Nano and the long heritage of developing lipid nanoparticles, the delivery vehicle that has enabled the COVID vaccines to be so effective. And all of that coming together to develop an additional capability that I think is strategically important, which is the build out of manufacturing capability, and having that real intelligence behind and access to manufacturing enables our companies to really scale up. I do want to point out another area that is really important to our investment strategy, and that's the utility of AI and machine learning. And we recently announced a partnership with AltaML to bring more expertise to our team, but also to bring more expertise into our companies. And I think that we see about half of our portfolio that either has AI as a key part of its technology stack, where it's integral into the business, like companies like Valence and Deep Genomics, or other companies that are utilizing AI like Gandiva and Congruence and others to really supplement their core technology. And I think that that is a really critical part of the future. 3 or 4 years ago, you would have looked at this and said, well, AI is an interesting curiosity, and now part of your technology stack. And you're seeing companies integrate that much more deeply into their overall business model and business plan.
Yeah, you certainly, I would say I have also observed the same trend, that AI was sort of a tool that some were using and not really as well understood as to how it played a significant role in life sciences. We had a panel discussion a couple of years ago that was a very lighthearted discussion about AI to try and debunk a little bit of how much AI was actually starting to get involved in life sciences companies. I also hear people talk a lot about platform companies, platform technology companies. You talked about AbCellera, and it seems that that is an area in particular in Vancouver where you see a lot of that happening, that the business model of drug discovery may be more of this partnership model. Can you comment a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think you have a strategic decision if you have a technology platform to either follow a business model where you decide that you want to license and partner your technology and become a service company and take that long tail of potential revenue that comes from licensing, or you can utilize your technology to build your own products. So essentially, if you have the goose that laid the golden egg, then why would you share it with other people? So there's two different models. I think AbCellera is a really interesting example of a company that's doing a little bit of both. So licensing is a primary part of their revenue model and revenue stream, but when they utilized it to develop the COVID antibody with Lilly, you saw how rapidly value could be created. So you went from, a company that had a long tail of revenue to a company that was recording somewhere between $200 and $400 million in annual revenue. And so that can happen really quickly if you're utilizing it to develop your own products, and you can move at entrepreneurial company speed versus moving at pharma company speed. Zymeworks another good case of a company that has about $6 billion of potential revenue coming from licensing, but also has its own product in phase 3 and looking to bring that forward to the market, and moving much more quickly than any of their partners ever did. So I think you do have a strategic decision to make, and it doesn't mean that if you go down one path, you can't go down the other. But many small companies are reluctant to go down the develop your own product path because it does mean bringing on a lot of additional capabilities that you may not currently have.
And as an investor, when you look at these companies and you are very early with many of them, is there a route that you encourage them to go, one or the other, or a hybrid?
I think our preference is to use your technology to develop your own products, because you can create value much more quickly that way and be in control of your own destiny. That is sometimes reliant on capital abundance. So the more capital that's available, the more likely it is that you'll go down that path because you can fund it. When capital becomes very dear, you may maybe move or pivot into starting to license some of the products. So, Deep Genomics is a really good example of this. They have an AI engine that is extremely productive in finding new and novel targets, and through that process, also designing the therapies concurrently with that. They have 16 programs in preclinical right now. We cannot develop all of those, and there will be some of those that are positioned to be licensed, and some of those that will be taken forward by the company, as far as possible, even all the way to the market. So you can make a decision about your portfolio in that way. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're only a drug company or only a service or a licensing model, but you can be a combination of both.
That's great. Thank you. So with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. And again, thank you very much, Dion, and Amplitude Ventures and your entire team. You're great supporters of the sector. Many of your team members out west volunteer a lot of their time in addition to all the work that they're doing for Amplitude. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being the presenter sponsor of this inaugural event. And we really appreciate that. So I'm now going to take a bit of time to do some housekeeping. So again, Dion, thank you. You're welcome to stay for the housekeeping or wish us adieu. So before we move on to our first set of pitches, I just want to go through a couple of housekeeping items. Firstly, we encourage everyone to post throughout the day on the event using social media channels, our hashtag #lifesciences_BC and the hashtag InvestWest. A little bit about our conference platform, Excel Events. I'm sure many of you have been on conference platforms similar to this. So we've chosen this platform because it emulates a lot of the features of a live conference and enables people to make online connections and set up meetings throughout the platform. So please take the opportunity to set up your personal profile with your picture, your LinkedIn information, and any other information you'd like people to see. You can let people know if you're seeking investment, partnerships, areas of interest, specific areas of scientific expertise. We've created a presenting companies guide, which can be found in the info desk in the main lobby or in the Life Sciences BC exhibitor booth. So please take the opportunity to go and take a look at that and learn a little bit more about the companies that we'll be pitching. We've scheduled dedicated one-on-one meeting times starting at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. So if there's someone that you'd like to meet with on the platform, you can find them in the People section and click on the calendar icon under their profile, selecting the time that you would like to meet. You can also send each other chats and arrange times to connect after. As you will see right now, we will be putting up some polls throughout the day. So please, if you would like, actively participate in that. We're really interested to learning more about where you're coming from. And also, I think we're going to be asking some questions about return to work plans, etc. There is both a Q&A and a chat section in this platform. So please take the opportunity to utilize that, especially during the panels. People will be monitoring it, and we'll try and bring your questions or comments into the panels. For the companies, if you have questions for them, you can add them to the Q&A. And while there isn't a formal Q&A section when the company pitches, they can go online and connect with you and answer those questions after. There's also an expo where you'll see a number of exhibitors, so please visit them. And we like to track how many connections people are making and how active people are on the platform. So you get points for every interaction that you have. And after the event, we will be giving out Starbucks gift cards to the top 10 most active networkers and people that are active on the platform. So you can check the leaderboard out in the lobby and see how you're faring with that. There's also an agenda in the virtual lobby. So please, if you're looking for the actual agenda, that's where you can go. Finally, if you have any questions at all, you can go to the frequently asked questions in the virtual info desk or stop by the LSBC booth where there will be somebody monitoring it who can help you out with either making connections with people, where the agenda is, or navigating the platform. So again, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy the event. I'm now going to close off this session, and in about 5 minutes, we will be starting our first pitch session. That's at 9:30 PST. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the day.